And so I stood up and I tried to run to the car, and I collapsed on the ground. And that's when I looked down and realized I'd been shot.
A Mission Beach woman is speaking out about a weekend getaway to Mexico turned nightmare after her drive home ended with her being shot during an attempted carjacking. She told ABC 10 News reporter Michael Chen the most horrifying moment of the whole ordeal had nothing to do with her getting hurt.
During the last 6 months, Cassandra Light and her 2-year-old golden retriever Ellie have been going to Rosarito for monthly weekend getaways. But on the last trip, the drive home would end with gunshots.
It's tough.
Out of the hospital, Light opening up about a long weekend getaway turned terrifying ordeal. On a Monday afternoon in mid-June, Light was driving her Mercedes SUV back from Rosarito, her dog Ellie in the back. She was on a busy road in the eastern part of Tijuana when she approached a highway on-ramp.
Black car comes like pulling out so fast in front of me. It slides sideways and blocks me from taking the ramp onto the highway.
Moments later,
Came from the left, all of a sudden started banging on my window. Masked up, hat on, all I could see was his eyes.
Light says she sat there frozen.
He raised the gun up. That's when he fired the first shot. I leaned back, and that first shot blew through my driver's side window and went out the passenger door.
Light believes she heard the man yelling, "Get out of the car." That's when he fired again.
My ears were just ringing so loudly. Somehow I got out of the seatbelt. That's when he grabbed me and just threw me out of the car into the street.
You're on the ground, you look up, and what do you see?
Her little face peeking out the back window. The most terrifying moment I think I've probably ever experienced. I'm just screaming, "Please don't take my dog." And so I stood up and I tried to run to the car, and I collapsed on the ground. And that's when I looked down and realized I'd been shot. I could see bones and blood.
Losing a lot of blood, Light says she may have started to black out.
Put her nose under my arm, and I'm like, oh my God.
But remembers Ellie appearing at her side, followed by 2 Good Samaritans. She's not sure how Ellie got out of the SUV, which had not been taken. It's possible police sirens had scared off the shooter along with the vehicle. Police have not made any arrests.
Broke the tibia and the fibula.
Light undergoing a total of 4 surgeries, the first one in Tijuana before she was transferred to a San Diego hospital. Light, who works as a life coach, facing a long recovery.
You want to give me a paw?
Her best friend by her side.
She's getting me through the whole thing.
Michael Chen, ABC 10 News.
This 10 News Pinpoint Weather Report is sponsored by Anderson Plumbing, Heating, and Air. Nobody wows clients like we do.
Well, it was pretty hot today, I'll tell you that. And tomorrow is going to be even hotter. Even the coastal areas, even though it's, sunny and warm and only in the 70s there, you stand outside long enough, it heats up. As we look towards Chula Vista, this is one of the more comfortable places, 76 degrees, not bad. I was in La Jolla today, and you walk around and you're outside for a long time, you feel that heat. When you're feeling that heat in the 90s, yeah, it's a lot more uncomfortable. So Ramona at 90 degrees right now. Julian hit 90 degrees today. Mount Laguna still in the 90s. Parts of Campo did warm into the triple digits today, and we're 113 to 114 in our deserts. Again, that extreme heat warning for the deserts is in effect until Friday now, and that heat advisory for the mountains has also been extended until Friday evening. So the Padres, they're taking on the Diamondbacks tonight. They're actually taking them on again tomorrow night. This is a long stretch of home games. They actually are then taking on, I think, the Blue Jays at the end of the week. So long stretch of home games. If you're going out tonight, it's going to be pretty warm. 7:10, we're pretty close to 70 degrees and only dipping down to the mid-60s by the end of the game. For the inland neighborhoods, pretty warm tonight as well. I wouldn't be surprised at 7 o'clock we still see some 80s for some of our warmer spots. By 9, still in the 70s, and then early tomorrow morning, pretty much in the mid-60s for most of us. So another pretty warm or mild evening in store for us. Tomorrow, not a big change along our coast. Maybe a degree or 2 warmer, low to mid-70s sticking around. That is still the place to beat the heat. Inland neighborhoods, maybe 1 to 2 degrees warmer than today. 90s in Escondido and in Poway, 89 in El Cajon, low to mid-90s for most of our mountains, but again, Campo in the triple digits. And tomorrow's going to be the hottest day in the deserts. Ocotillo is getting close to 120 degrees. Ramona, I think, is going to be the hottest spot inland again at 95 degrees. So there's those heat advisories and heat warnings that we have in place. Our heat dome is still with us, pushing that cold air all the way up into Canada. There's the monsoon moisture, all of that green that you see there, all of that rain. That is headed our way this weekend. So I'm going to put our 10 News Futurecast into play starting this early Saturday. Here comes that surge of moisture. So partly cloudy to mostly cloudy skies on Saturday, but should have a really cool sunset in the evening. Could see some sprinkles. Our better chance for a little bit of rain is going to be on Sunday, and that's anywhere in the county. And the main reason I think the best chance for some showers on Sunday is that push is going really far west. The rest of next week, most of the activity looks like it's going to be focused over the mountains. Monday into Tuesday, into Wednesday, into Thursday, into Friday, and by the following weekend, a tropical system might be stretching by, and that's why we could see even more moisture coming through. So a tropical system that hasn't formed yet by Cabo could be bringing us more humidity by the end of next week, by the weekend. So humid weather going to be sticking around for a while, starting on Saturday, and could see a few sprinkles to a stray shower for the coast and inland neighborhoods, though peak activity again will be in the mountains. 90s for most inland neighborhoods tomorrow, mid-80s this weekend, back in the 90s next week. The mountains will also see those low to mid 90s for a couple more days and then returning by midweek next week. And for our desert areas, exceptionally hot for a few more days, a little bit cooler but more humid this weekend.
Worries that a high-rise building in Midtown Manhattan could be on the brink of collapse. Coming up, what officials are saying after people were evacuated from that building.
New York City officials say that a high-rise is now stable after some of its columns buckled. Crews worked around the clock to stabilize that 37-floor building in Midtown Manhattan. On Tuesday, people in nearby buildings were evacuated after columns in that building began to buckle. 4 buildings were still completely evacuated as of midday Wednesday. Video from Tuesday showed some steel beams severely warped. New York's mayor said as of Wednesday morning, temporary shoring and beams were completely installed on floor 18 through 23, and additional shoring and beams will be added to other floors throughout the day. The building was formerly part of Pfizer Global's headquarters and is now being converted into a 1,600-unit luxury apartment building. It's part of a growing trend with more than 90,000 office buildings in the pipeline to be converted into apartments. More than 16,000 of those projects are in New York, according to a recent analysis.
As soon as we answer the emergency questions around safety in this moment, we are going to be conducting a full investigation as to how we got to this point. Because this is not a necessary consequence of an office to residential conversion. This, however, is clearly a breakdown in that process.
The mayor also said there has been no additional movement of the structure since Tuesday morning. Katia Tubman, Scripps News Group, New York.
You're watching ABC 10 News at 4.
There was trepidation amongst NATO leaders as Donald Trump started Wednesday's summit with criticism of NATO allies, notably Denmark suggesting that the US was still interested in annexing Greenland, and also for Spain, which is the only NATO ally of the 32 that has not promised to increase its proportion of GDP spent on defense to 5%. It's staying around 2%. So Donald Trump suggested that he would try to cut trade ties with Spain and that there would be political repercussions. Now, that's not possible. Spain's part of the single market of the European Union, but it showed how seriously he took this and how upset he was. But by the end of the day, I think NATO leaders would say this was a successful summit. Donald Trump said that it was a tremendously successful summit and that the unity in the room where leaders met and really the love, he said, was incredible. NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte said a similar thing, that he believes Washington is content, that Europe is stepping up to provide the level of funding which Washington is expecting, and capability gaps that only America can fill at the moment are being addressed and should be at the timeline that NATO has put out. So a largely successful summit all round, with even the Ukraine president getting his main concern addressed, which is air defense systems for Ukraine, with Donald Trump suggesting that they might even get the plans to make Patriot missiles themselves. Stuart Smith, Scripps News Group, Ankara in Turkey.
Denmark's prime minister is again rejecting President Trump's demand to take control of Greenland. Trump renewed his demands on the eve of a NATO summit in Turkey, but Danish Prime Minister Mette Frederiksen says the island is not for sale and says all of its allies should respect its sovereignty.
The U.S. position is unfortunately very clear on this topic, and our position is as clear as it has been all through. Greenland is, of course, not for sale. We hope that all, including all allies, will respect the Greenlandic people's right for self-determination.
Frederiksen says Denmark is ready to defend every inch of its territory.
Democrats are working to gain control of the Senate for the first time since 2014, but there are 11 competitive races, and Democrats need to win 8 of them to gain power back. It's been a dozen years since Democrats led the Senate. It's a steep climb for them to do it again this election year, but they're trying.
Savannah, are you ready to win?
Here's how it could work. Half of those wins require Democrats to defend their seats in Minnesota, Michigan, New Hampshire, and Georgia. 3 of those are rated likely. Michigan may prove the trickiest for the party. It's an open seat with a competitive primary.
Ain't no Project 2025 coming to Michigan.
Is it better than it was? And I've been saying the same thing now consistently for the past 8 years.
And a very mainstream Republican nominee. They also need to flip seats currently held by a Republican, and their best chances are in Alaska, Iowa, North Carolina, and Maine. Maine's race thrown into chaos and uncertainty by accusations of rape against the Democratic nominee Grant Plattner. Elsewhere, James Tallarico in Texas and former Senator Sherrod Brown in Ohio have outside chances of winning their states. But the power matters for Democrats, who are trying to hold off President Trump from accomplishing his goals, from confirming his judicial nominees, and potentially justices to the Supreme Court.
We have the power not just to restore checks and balances, but to rebuke these abuses of power with such power and decision that no president dares try anything like this again for a century.
Independents also have a chance to win in Montana and Nebraska and could then vote with Democrats. A number of important primaries where the general election is expected to be competitive, including Michigan, New Hampshire, and Alaska, still have not taken place. Alex Miller, Scripps News Group, Washington.
Could your health care costs be on the rise? A health policy research organization says Obamacare premiums could increase by the low double digits for 2027. The findings indicate insurers are seeking 10 to 20% premium increases. Researchers say Affordable Care Act enrollees who qualify for subsidies are largely protected from the changes. Many who use the program are still reeling from price surges after Congress allowed enhanced subsidies to expire. Health insurers have until July 15th to file their 2027 proposed premiums for 2027.
Billions of dollars in value crosses between the U.S. and Mexico here in Nogales at the Mariposa port of entry. For more than 30 years, trade agreements that included the U.S., Mexico, and Canada made the trade more predictable and easier to manage. But now, some changes by the United States are making the world of trade much less predictable. From fresh produce to freshly made cars and trucks, trade agreements, NAFTA, and more recently the USMCA encourage cross-border trade by reducing or eliminating tariffs on certain goods. When the USMCA came up for renewal, the U.S. did not choose to keep existing rules for another 10 years. Instead, it chose to renegotiate the rules every year. Josh Rubin is with Javid LLC. More than 25 companies have hired Javid to manage factories in Mexico devoted to cross-border trade. He says the change brings the sort of uncertainty that can affect job growth and consumer prices on both sides of the border.
It affects Mexican and Canadian businesses wanting to invest in the United States and the United States wanting to invest in Canada and Mexico because you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know what changes might take place tomorrow.
Rubin thinks the uncertainty could affect new investment, but not drive companies to cut back what they're doing already. Jaime Chamberlain and his family have been bringing fruit and vegetables across from Mexico for more than 50 years. He says the uncertainty of short-term trade negotiations could discourage him from investing in Mexican farms, and that could affect the amount of food on your table and what you pay for it. But he thinks cross-border supply chains are so intertwined and the needs for food and other products run so deep that short-term negotiations could open some eyes on all sides.
I honestly believe that within the next year to 2 years of revisions, we are going to realize that we need each other to feed each other, and especially in the agriculture sector. But we also need each other to feed each other with all the other commodities in the manufacturer sectors as well. We cannot live without each other.
Craig Smith, Scripps News Group.
We're getting new details about why ICE just purchased 2 private immigration detention centers and what this will cost taxpayers. The U.S. government just bought 2 large California immigration detention centers already holding detainees. The lockups are owned by the CoreCivic Company. The combined price, $1.5 billion, $732 million for a 2,500-bed facility in California City, and $739 million for the 2,000-bed Otay Mesa Detention Center in San Diego. In a statement to Scripps News, DHS says the 2 lockups are crucial to ICE's detention network on the West Coast, and that buying them will allow them to keep housing detainees despite state legislation to outlaw or make private prisons financially infeasible. Lauren Brooke Eisen at the Brennan Center says California may have less power to oversee detention centers now owned by the government.
I think what we'll see is probably a legal battle over whether the state still has the authority to inspect these detention centers now that they are owned by the federal government and not owned by corporations.
The money is coming from the so-called One Big Beautiful Bill passed by Congress that included an infusion of dollars to increase immigration detention. The sale of those 2 detention centers will mean a profit of $1.1 billion for CoreCivic. The company will continue to manage those facilities for ICE. Patrick Terpstra, Scripps News Group, Washington.
Waymo is starting the next phase of testing in San Diego. The company will soon put its fully autonomous cars on the road here without drivers. You'll see the cars around PB, Normal Heights, La Playa, and South Crest. For now, the rides will only be available to Waymo employees, but the company says it does plan to offer